Hey everybody, how's it going today? I'm Kenny Stahl, and I thought that I would just do a live stream for a little bit to just kind of share my thoughts with you guys and talk. This is a live stream, so hopefully I'll be able to chat with people who are watching live. So, I don't really know where to start. I don't really ever plan out these things very well, so I guess I'm just going to kind of go wherever it goes. So I've been doing pretty well lately. Not really much has been going on in my life, but I don't know. I thought I'd maybe talk to you guys about just kind of I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think, like, why even, like, what it is that I care about. Oh, hey, wow, there's already a bunch of people here. Jesus. Yeah, hello everybody here in the chat. I'm sure a lot of you guys who are watching this are probably newer, because I've been gaining more subscribers and I haven't really done a lot of videos recently or live streams, but yes, somebody said that I should live stream more often. Absolutely, I agree. I would love to. I'm working on putting out more content, hopefully. So let me know what you guys want me to talk about in videos, or what it is that you guys are interested in, or what you want to hear more comments about. Because there's a lot of stuff that people talk about. I mean, I think I'm really interested in understanding people and their personalities and how people think. And I know that thinking is a problem that a lot of people have. And what I mean by that is, like, a lot of times so many of us are in our heads. So many of us just spend time by ourselves where we're trying to work through different thoughts and ideas. And I think this is one thing that contributes to how we feel. So when you talk about how you feel depressed or how you feel angry at stuff or all sorts of different feelings, there's a connection to with, like, how you're thinking. And if you think negative thoughts or stuff that isn't true or isn't real, that definitely affects. I think that's kind of what I'm interested in, is like how the way you think influences your behavior, and how that ultimately affects your life and what you choose to do. So I've always struggled with that a lot, though. I've always struggled myself with just, I feel like the reason why I feel like my life isn't going. Oh, I got all blurry. Hold on. Hello. I feel like the reason why how sometimes I feel like my life isn't going the way that I've wanted it to, is I feel like because I'm just not focusing on the right thing, or I'm not, so it's like where your attention goes is really important. All right, I don't know what I'm doing. We have somebody saying, hello, I'm 21 and I have the same problem. Somebody says, hi, I'm also depressed. I don't have any friends. Someone says, advice on how to deal with hopelessness. Somebody's watching from France. Oh, you're watching. Okay, I thought you said you were watching from France. France versus Croatia. Please tell me how I control my depression. We have somebody saying, watch any shows on Netflix. So, yeah, so the question about depression, how do you control your depression? I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do. I'm certainly not an expert, and I probably don't have the best advice for depression. But I think the place to start is certainly to try to understand what's causing your depression, for sure. And because you usually don't. I mean, when I was depressed, I had no clue why I was depressed. There's a lot of different things that might be going on. For me personally, I focus a lot on the cognitive side of things, on the thought patterns that you have that might be contributing to depression. Although it's not really certain, I mean, maybe that's not the cause of your depression, is how you're thinking. But at the very least is a symptom. Negative thinking and feeling hopeless and stuff like that is certainly something that comes out of being depressed. So for me, like, one of the things I had to do is I had to really be conscious of and mindful of how I was thinking and what I was thinking about. If I constantly find myself thinking about, just thinking about myself in a poor way, thinking, man, I'm such a loser, I can't do anything right in my life, I should just give up on everything. It's like, pay attention to when you think those things and try to, just the whole idea of being mindful is try to replace those thoughts which are, feeding that sense of hopelessness. How can you stop thinking that way? But obviously there's other things that factor into depression, physical things, biological things. If you're really seeking a cure or like a cure for depression, if you're seeking treatment for depression, there's all sorts of things that I can't even get into it because I'm just not very well educated on it. Should I hang out with fake friends or not hang out with them at all? I think, if you really don't like them, then just don't hang out with them. But I think everybody, if somebody is so fake that you can't deal with it or that you don't want to be around them, then certainly just, do your own thing. Don't worry about it. But if you really care about them, if you really like them, even if they're fake, you can still be their friend. It's just depending on you. Hey Kenneth, what do you do for your job? What is my career? My career is just a basic, like, I don't know what you'd call it, a production worker. Somebody who just works in like a place where they just, just a production worker. Let's see. Yeah, that's true. About the whole whether or not you hang out with fake friends, Chuck Norris in the chat, saying, do they make you feel good? Do you feel uncomfortable around them? Yeah, it's, if somebody is fake as a person, that's just one aspect of their personality or the way that they portray themselves. But if they're good to you, if they're a good friend, if you're getting something out of the relationship, then it's worth it. And I think with relationships, I've always been pretty bad at relationships because what I've noticed is that I don't really offer much to people. I'm not the most outgoing person, so it's like, I'm not really offering that value of, I don't really talk to people a lot in general. So, if I don't really offer, if I'm not really somebody that people, can have a good conversation with, if I'm not somebody who is going to be outgoing and fun or whatever, then obviously, like, I'm not going to be somebody that people want to hang out with. Like, I'm pretty bad at relationships altogether. I prefer to be by myself, just sitting around watching YouTube videos or whatever. Or I actually started reading recently, and I'm very happy that I started reading. And I think that if I just buy the right books, because I'm really interested in certain topics, a lot of it is psychological type books talking about human psychology, and some of it's about what was one of the other books. I'm not going to tell you what the books are because I don't want you guys to judge me for them. Some of them were trying to understand. One of them was like something about Buddhism or something like that, because I'm trying to understand that whole thing. I can't remember what it was about exactly. It was a while ago, but please talk about self-defeating personality disorder and avoidant. I don't know anything. You're not asking the right person for that. I can't talk about things that I don't know anything about. If it's just not worth hearing my opinion on that stuff. Where do I live? Who do you live with? Okay, sorry, I read that wrong. I live in Michigan, and I do live by myself. I moved out of my parents are separated, so I have I always went back and forth from, like, literally, like, every other day I would be at my mom's house, and then I would, like, the next day I would go over to my dad's house. I think growing up like that, it was very had a very significant role in who I am, because I've always been kind of lost. I've always been kind of confused. I didn't grow up in a family, in like a single family, because I had two families, my mom's family, my dad's family, and I would literally go back and forth every other day. Monday, I would be at my mom's, Tuesdays at my dad's, Wednesdays at my mom's, Thursdays at my dad's. And this really messed with me, because I would wake up at one house, go to school, or if it was the summer, I wouldn't go to school. And then I would go to the other house after school. And thinking back on growing up like that, I really wish I chunked it out more, so I was at one place for 3 or 4 days and then went to the other place for the other half of the week, rather than doing the every other day thing, because I felt like I was going back and forth from one thing to the other, so I never really felt comfortable with either one of them. Either way, I'm sure a lot of people grew up with either divorced parents or separated parents, but and the other thing about my childhood growing up is that I am so much older than my younger siblings. Not terribly older, but old. I was basically, I might as well have been an only child. I wasn't an only child, but I felt like an only child because I couldn't relate to, when I was in high school, I couldn't relate to my brother who was playing with toys as a 4-year-old or 3-year-old, All right. So, yeah, some of you guys are bringing up stuff that I really don't have any comments on. But yeah, what do you guys want me to talk about? Do you guys have any questions for me, or something specifically that's going on in your guys' lives that maybe stands out? I can't really talk about a lot of things because I don't know a lot about some of the stuff. Somebody brought up self-defeating personality disorder, which I have no clue what that is. I can probably take a guess what self-defeating personality would be. I could probably look it up too, but I don't want to do that. What would be your dream career? That's a good question. I'm kind of curious what some of your guys' answers for that are. So if you want to say that, that's cool. My dream career, the best thing that I could do is just, honestly, YouTube would be pretty cool to do, because it's so easy, compared to other jobs. Dream career, I would certainly like to do something, honestly, I really like stand-up comedy. I've always been a fan of that, even I think before it took up this popularity with the podcasting community, because a lot of people right now, I think, there's a lot of people out there that listen to big podcasts like Joe Rogan and other people, but there's all sorts of comedians that are doing podcasts, and I think a lot of people are listening to stand-up comedy a lot more because there's a big community there. I was a huge fan of stand-up comedy when I was 14, watching Comedy Central Presents and stuff. And ever since I started watching that on the Comedy Central, I've always wanted to do it myself. Actually, I think the first stand-up comedians that I actually watched were actually the Jeff Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy and that sort of thing. And that was my first exposure to stand-up. And, I thought it was kind of funny, some of the stuff that he talked about. But, I just kept finding out more and more about different comedians. And I think one of the things I just absolutely love listening to people. I absolutely love hearing other people's perspectives and what other people have to say, which is why I'm addicted to YouTube. It's why I'm sure, you guys are literally listening to me right now. So obviously some of you guys, find, kind of had the same, your interest, with YouTube. It's like you can listen to like people talk about themselves and about whatever they want to talk about. And with YouTube, YouTube is literally like, the phrase is broadcast yourself. And so anybody can broadcast themselves and make videos talking to the camera. But I've always been drawn to listening to people. Like I love listening to, whether it's for entertainment like a comedian, or whether it's something educational like a teacher or professor. Whether for a while there I was like really, because I felt like a loser in life. Like I really got a lot out of listening to motivational people. I don't really listen to motivational people anymore, just because I don't know why, I just don't. But for a while, people who would, be like, hey, you can do something with your life, you have potential or whatever, that majorly influenced me and how I think, and kind of, what I bring to the table in these videos. I think I am drawing a lot from that type of person. But I always like listening to people for whatever reason, and which is why I started YouTube, was to be somebody actually sharing my thoughts. And I've learned a lot through this experience. But okay, where am I going with this? I have no idea. Dream job, that's right, stand-up comedian. I would love to be a stand-up comedian because I think that I can write good jokes, but I haven't like actually done it because I'm lazy. Yeah, there's a huge community around like stand-up right now, I feel like. But maybe that's just me because I'm a part of it. Can you talk about being complacent and not feeling like you're progressing with your life? Let's see. Kenneth, you look happy today. Yeah, I'm feeling good. How to improve my English? I don't know. I'm not very good. Languages have never been a strength of mine. I've never been good at learning languages, and I've always wanted to like learn Spanish, but I just am terrible at it. I suck at it. Hopelessness. Please look up avoidant personality disorder and self-defeating personality disorder. I will look it up at some point. But because I'm always interested in hearing about different things like that. But certainly not something that I know about right now. Would you like to be normal? You know what I mean? I mean, there really isn't a norm. Like, there really, like, when you say, like, you're not normal, or when you say, like, I just want to be normal, like, you're basically not really saying anything because everybody's different. What else am I trying to say? I don't even know where I'm going with this. Sorry, guys. I'm like, I really need to get better at preparing stuff to talk about for these videos, these live streams. I feel like I'm better at doing the just regular videos to upload, which is probably what I'm going to spend when I start actually putting out content on this channel, because I haven't really been doing that recently. I'm probably going to focus more on just individual videos because I'm better at that. I can just like come up with like a specific thing to talk about for 10 minutes or so, and then, you know, make a bunch of points and follow a path of, you know, talking about something. But with these live streams, it's really overwhelming for me because I got to just come up with stuff to talk about, and I never it's not a skill that I have, I don't think. You guys are obviously leaving comments here, but even I mean, it's hard for me to follow because all of you guys are like on a different page right now. You guys are all wanting to talk about different things. And I just don't know how to respond to everything. Time zone what time zone am I in? I'm in the New York time zone, the Eastern, whatever the heck it is. Have you ever been interested of being someone's friend, but always think they probably don't care because you are the only one reaching out? I have no idea. Not easy when people just throwing random questions at you. Yeah, I agree. Cameron's here. How you doing, Cameron? I remember you. Yeah. Yeah, like I used to stream a lot more frequently, and like I would recognize half the people in the chat, and now it's been like I haven't been streaming as much recently, and a bunch of new people are subscribing, so it's like, this is probably the first interaction I have with some of you guys watching. And if you are watching live, I strongly encourage you to guys to ask questions. Man, this is hard. I don't really know what kinds of questions I want you to ask me, but maybe just talk, like make statements about yourself or how you're doing, or something that either is going well for you or isn't going well for you, or I don't know. I'm very bad at talking off the top of my head, which is probably why I in real life I always am the person who is just sitting there not talking to anybody, even when I'm around a bunch of people and everybody's kind of, I always have a sense that people are always like, why is he not talking? Or what is he doing? And I always feel just completely uncomfortable, because it's like I want to talk to people when I'm around people in groups in real life, but at the same time I just feel like, why? Like, what am I going to get out of this? And so I think one of the things that I started doing several years ago was I started just making myself talk to people, and I just felt uncomfortable, and I don't know. I've been trying a lot more recently to do that. What are some of your hobbies? For me, honestly, I don't do much. We got a very uninteresting life. Hobbies, I mean, I guess bowling is a hobby. Watching YouTube, doing YouTube, playing video games. Do you know the feeling of heart-wrenching anguish of unrequited love and gut-wrenching pain of forbidden love? I can't say that I do. Can someone please explain how to not confuse AM and PM? I don't know. Do you watch anime? No. I've never gotten into anime. Cameron says, I'm great. Leave for boot camp in 2 weeks. I just want to throw it out there. You helped me out a lot, and I really am grateful of that. I really appreciate that, Cameron, letting me know just how you're doing, and good luck in boot camp for sure. Do you know about Myers-Briggs? It could help you understand yourself a bit more. Yes, I do know about that. The personality thing. I am an INFP. And, there's actually more to the Myers-Briggs personality than just what people just kind of, you find your four letters or whatever it is, your personality. But, there's actually more to it. And I tried to look into this a bit, but it's been a while since I looked at it. I'm trying to look it up. Okay, hold on. It's called, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do this. Right now I'm trying to look it up. I'm on Wikipedia right now. No, this is Carl Jung. Because I think Carl Jung has something to do with the whole INFP thing. Let's see. There's like this other layer to it. I'm gonna try to look it up real quick. I'm on my computer. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this right now. No, I've been getting into personality a lot, and that's something that I think I'm interested in is personality because one of my goals is to understand people well enough, like to like understand how people think and, you know, try to understand personality. I know Jordan Peterson is a guy that is really, really popular right now. You know, obviously he's kind of controversial because some people don't like him. But I've been listening to a lot of Jordan Peterson, and one of the things that he talks about a lot is the Big Five personality. And so I went and I did the test for that on his website that he was a part of, which was understandmyself.com, which you got to pay for, which kind of sucks. So I actually like bought it. I actually paid money to take this thing. But I think that personality test is a lot more interesting than the Myers-Briggs. And it's just something that I thought I'd bring up because you know, like I learned a lot about myself. Like I actually learned a lot about myself and why I struggle so much. You know, like there's the conscientious component, and I realized that I scored all the way at the bottom in that, which basically helps me understand why I have absolutely no motivation to do anything, why I consider myself to be lazy, why I would rather avoid doing work than actually doing the work, which I guess is laziness. That's one way of putting it. But I learned that I was very low in the trait called extroversion, which is obviously what it sounds like, or enthusiasm. I was really low in that, which is why I probably am a very dull and boring person, and how I keep to myself. So am I an optimistic person? I would say that overall, I am optimistic. But I certainly do have, you know, the doubts, and I do have a little bit of pessimism, but you should get a pet. You say it helps with depression, apparently. I mean, I hear that a lot, and I think that I would definitely like to have like a dog or something, but I'm not really ready for that at the moment. Maybe in several years when I don't know, change where I live. I don't know. Cameron says, I don't think you're dull, but rather insightful. Thank you. That's kind of all I try to be, is insightful. Like literally, that's like my main goal, is to try to have some sort of a perspective on things that is insightful. Where am I? The Rock says, hello, I'm 21. I have the same problems as you. I don't have friends. I don't have social skills, and my life sucks. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the things that, you know, I've talked about a little bit, is like, I mean, it's probably why you're here, because of the videos you've seen from me but like growing up, I realized that my lack of social skills was a huge problem. And that is probably one of the starting points for me, is forcing myself to learn about just the basic communication skills, because that's how I got into the whole idea of self-help and personal development. I don't know why I'm using air quotes. I don't know. But I got into everything because like I realized that as a person, I have to develop myself. Like I have to get better at just being able to hold a simple conversation with somebody, because I'm just so bad at it. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not very good at making friends, is just because, you know, I don't talk to people. I don't go trying to make friends. And in that sense, you can say I'm not the most friendly person. In other words, I'm not somebody who reaches out to others. You know, I don't. And I think that certain people who are naturally good at being talkative or having good social skills, there's people out there that will just like give you a compliment out of nowhere, or they'll smile at you or whatever, and it's like, I never think to do these things. I never think, hey, maybe I should smile at this person, or hey, maybe I should, give them a little compliment. It's like, for me, I just like to keep to myself, and I don't do that sort of thing. But if you think about the people that you personally enjoy being around, the people that you like, there's always friendly people that like are just always smiling, or they always have something nice to say. My goal is to be funny. My goal, and again, Cameron, you mentioned that you thought that I was insightful. I think that I think of myself as, in conversations, I try to be insightful in conversations, and that just leads me to being rambling or whatever. And I don't know. I feel like that's not. I don't know. I try to be funny. If I can come up with a way in a real life situation, not just in a YouTube video, or not like actually like writing a joke, but the in real life, out of nowhere, finding something funny in a situation, I find that to be what my goal is just to find, funny things about what's going on, which is, something that I think is a skill, but also, I don't think I'm naturally funny. I think that it's something, I don't know. Where am I going with this? Don't know. Let's see what we got. Where am I at here? Talking about religion. For me, I'm not really sure where I'm at. I think the best thing to describe me is agnostic, but that's not probably everything. That doesn't really say anything. I grew up as a Christian, so I think that a lot of my views are very sympathetic towards Christianity. However, I, been thinking a lot about that over the past several years, and I think that I don't think that I would call myself a Christian anymore. But it's I don't know. I'm still fascinated by religion. I don't hate religion the way that a lot of people who are against religion are. It's just my own personal view right now, but I find my views changing all the time, sort of, but not really. I don't know. It's very hard to be open about like what I feel about religion, because everybody's got their own position. Everybody's kind of coming from a different place, and I don't know. And I'm not trying to, I don't know, like right now my goal is not to talk about religion. So, okay. How do you look like without eyeglasses? Okay, next question. Where am I at? I'm quiet and introverted. Yeah, I'm definitely an introvert. I hate parties in crowded places because there are a bunch of people. Yeah, I usually avoid anywhere where there's a lot of people. I don't know, I just feel awkward. I don't know what it is. Probably my social anxiety. That makes sense. Okay. Do you go to the movies? What's the last movie you saw? Do you go to the movies by yourself? I don't ever go to the movies by myself. I usually just go to the movies with my girlfriend, and then I'm trying to think, what is the last movie I saw? I actually don't know. I haven't been to the movies in a while. Do you listen to rock music? I like all kinds of music. Do you like TV shows or comic books? I don't watch TV really anymore. I'm not interested in comic books. Never got into that. Did you watch Who's the Father show? I don't know what that is. Let's see. What can I talk about? I don't know. What should I talk about right now? I don't know why. I just had like this weird desire to just start up a live stream. And so, like, I don't really know why. I just felt like I needed to talk. I wanted to talk to and chat with you guys. But at the same time, it's like I don't really have anything to say, which is kind of the big problem that I have is, hey, I want to say something. Also, I don't know what I want to say. What? How frequently do you see your parents? That's a good question. Every few weeks, I think. Do you have a sibling? I have a lot of siblings. Do you have parents? I do. All right. Have I ever been to London? No, I don't travel. That's the one thing I don't do. I live in a small town in the state of Michigan, and I don't ever go anywhere. I've been, to a couple places just to go there for vacation, like Florida once for, the whole Disney thing, and then been to somewhere in Tennessee or something. I've been to Kentucky to visit family. I've been to Chicago just for a trip there for something, but like other than that, I don't go places. That's about the extent of where I've been. Does your girlfriend watch your videos? I mean, she doesn't watch them. She knows I have a YouTube channel, though, yes. What does she think about them? I don't know. She probably thought it was weird at first, I'm sure. She hasn't really talked to me about it too much. I don't really talk. I don't know. I don't really talk to her about what I'm, like, the actual content of the videos. I just, like, tell her, like, oh, yeah, I'm working on YouTube a little bit. I'm trying to come up with stuff to talk about on YouTube. And I'd tell her that, like, I uploaded a video or something. But I don't think she watches a lot of it. She'll tune in, every once in a while. Like right now, she might be watching right now, just tuning in, but I don't know. She's at her house. She lives with her parents, so. Let's see. How do you feel when you got a girlfriend? Like, I was, like, when I was that age, when I didn't have a girlfriend, because I met my girlfriend in high school, so I was 17, and up until that point, like, because I've never had a girlfriend before, all I could think about was, like, how badly I wanted a girlfriend, I'm sure some of you guys might even be in that same position right now, and then when I finally got into a relationship with her, like, it was the greatest feeling ever. And I've been with her ever since. So, I've never had any other girlfriend other than the one I have right now. We've been together for 6 years. I've never experienced a breakup, even though we had kind of a rocky situation a couple years in, or a year into it. I don't really know. Can't really call it a breakup. It was just like we had a thing because of my depression. There's the thing. Because of my depression and how bad I was at that point in, like, 2013-ish, like, it caused a lot of things going wrong in the relationship and how I was being, and it was just, I don't know. Would you like to live with your girlfriend? Yes, I would love to live with my girlfriend, but it's just she's going to school. She's just living with her parents, and do I speak openly with her? Yes. Like, I'm very, very happy with my relationship with my girlfriend. I'm very, like, my goal has always been to have a long-term relationship, and I'm so happy that it's working out with my girlfriend. I'm very insecure in the relationship probably, so I always, worry that like I'm not good enough as a relationship partner or whatever you want to call it. And so I'm very insecure about that. But she's just the greatest person ever. Like, she's so, like, just supportive, I think. She's, like, a really supportive person. So it's almost like she's almost too supportive. Like, she almost gives me too much freedom to be a I mean, I guess you can't really be too supportive, but I can say that I definitely am not the greatest person to be in a relationship with. How do I say this? How do I say this is a weird thing for me to try to work out and explain. I'm just a really insecure person, so that causes issues. Could I sing? I can't sing. No. I'm currently 23. I had to think about that. These are all like questions, like direct questions, and I do appreciate that. I don't really know what else to talk about. How often do you see her? I see my girlfriend like, I mean, she's we don't see each other every day, but do you think it's okay for a man to be insecure and such? I feel like society forces me to hide those types of feelings. I mean, of course it's okay to be everybody's got some sort of insecurities. I think that society might say that for men, that men aren't like supposed to share their feelings or be insecure. I feel like society definitely does give a lot more, or is a lot more accepting for women to be insecure. Like, we almost take that for granted. Like, we almost, like, I don't know, maybe this is just the people that I've been around, or maybe it's just the guys that I'm familiar with. But what I've seen is, like, there's just this stereotype that, yeah, women are just insecure. And when a woman acts emotional or is very expressive of how she feels, or whether that's insecure or whatever, I do think that we take that for granted more, and we just assume that. But for men, I can say that perhaps, because here's the thing, I'm kind of hesitant to say that society doesn't allow men to share their feelings, because I think that it's not completely true. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true, but it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of hesitant to go that far and to say that, even though, I don't know, maybe it is true. But for me, I've just always been a guy, like, who's extremely sensitive, extremely expressive of my feelings. I cry all the time, like, I can't help it. So for me, it's like, from my experience, yeah, I do feel like there is a little bit of a thing where, it's people don't, I don't know if it's because I'm a guy, though. That's the problem, is like, I do feel like there's something about me being so sensitive and insecure that it's like, guys typically, would say stuff like, oh, you're a pussy, or I felt really weird saying that. But you're stuff like that, which I guess would be how people in society reinforce that idea. However, I also think that being insecure to a certain degree is not a good thing. Being depressed is not a good thing. In other words, it's not the ideal way to be. But of course there's going to be insecurities that people have. Everybody's going to have their own emotional state that they're in. Everybody's going to have feelings. Everybody's going to be insecure. The question is, how do we deal with that? And I do think that there does need to be more of a conversation about it. I don't know, it's so hard for me to comment on this because I have my hesitations about the whole premise, but I don't know. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to work through, like, I'm thinking right now. Like, this isn't me, like, like, I'm trying to, like, share my thoughts on this. I've actually had a lot of thoughts on that whole topic because I always hear people say, that society tells men that they can't share their feelings or whatever. And when I hear that, I understand it completely. Like, I see the truth in it. But at the same time, I want to push back on that idea because I think that, like, I know all sorts of guys. Here's the problem with it. Here's what makes it so complicated is that the same guys that are out there telling you that you have to man up, the same guys that are telling you that you have to, be a man and, just deal with your feelings or whatever, the same guys that say that are also the same guys that will let you be emotional. They do understand, sadness and stuff like that because everybody's human. And even the toughest of tough guys cry. Even the toughest of tough guys out there who are the whole manly men who tell you to man up and be a man, even those guys are still emotional and they recognize that other people are emotional and they'll be there supportive for their friends if they're sad or whatever, and or they're insecure. So it's like we're not dealing with this like thing where we're not dealing with a situation where people are just told that you should suppress your emotions because it's so complicated because like, yeah, you're going to hear both things. You're going to get a lot of support and you're also going to get a lot of pushback and as a guy who like is really insecure. But here's the thing. Here's my thoughts on it. I think that there are certain situations where you want to not be so insecure. There are certain situations where you want to, not. There has to be the right environment for you as a guy to be able to express your emotions. I don't know. It's so hard for me to talk about this. I don't know why. I don't know why I went off and talked about that. Okay, I'm like missing a ton of stuff in the chat right now, so I'm trying to read here. Sorry guys, I'm being a little quiet right now. I'm trying to read the chat. Somebody in the chat said something about being suicidal. So I do want to say to the person who says, I'm thinking to end my life next month. I don't want to live anymore because everything's painful. I'm tired of life and have serious problems. There's no meaning, no purpose, nothing to live for anymore. I do want to at least say that I hear you. I do want to at least say that I acknowledge that you left that comment here. And I want to highly suggest to you that you don't do that. And I want to suggest that you talk to somebody, like to other people about this more, and definitely go and seek, like, try to get help for this, because I mean that is a serious concern to have those types of thoughts and to want to end your life. And if you ever find yourself, and this goes for anybody, if you ever find yourself thinking like that about wanting to end your life, that is a sign that you're, depressed, obviously, or whatever. You probably know that already, but that there is something that you can do about that. And that, I would say going to somebody who is specifically trained psychologically to help you deal with that, whether that means going on medication, whether that means going to see a talk therapy person, somebody to sit down with and talk about this with. I highly recommend that you do that, because you can actually have some strategies that can allow you to start finding, like you say that your life has no meaning, you say that there's no purpose, nothing to live for. I mean, just because that's the way you feel right now doesn't mean that's the way that you're always going to be, and that isn't necessarily how things will go for you. Because when you sit down and talk to somebody about how you're feeling, and you say you have no purpose, you say you're not, you don't enjoy life or whatever it is, there's pain and suffering in life. You can always discover something that is meaningful to you. You can always discover, there's always options, killing yourself, is not at all that shouldn't be an option. Like, how do I say this? Because I got to be careful what I'm doing right now, because I'm trying to specifically talk to the person who wrote this comment, and I'm probably doing a very, very bad job. This is why it's hard for me, because I have my own personal feelings on this topic, because I've thought a lot about, because I've had so many people on YouTube in comments on my videos say pretty much exactly the same thing, a similar thing, and I've always had to think about, how am I going to respond to this, because how do I, and it sucks, because I don't always have the best answer, but there's different things that you can work through. So I got to take a minute to think what I want to say about this, because when it comes to depression and being suicidal, I don't know if this has anything to do with the person who stated this, but I know that one of the things that people have to be able to do in life, and this isn't simply just for a person who is suicidal, because you might be that way for a number of reasons, but one of the things that a general thing for everybody, is learning to forgive yourself. Because I think a part of you being who you are is, over the course of your life, you've made several mistakes. Over the course of your life, you've done things that perhaps you feel guilty about. Over the course of your life, you've probably you probably acted in ways which you wish you didn't, and you just keep on remembering the mistakes that you made and whatever. And I think part of something that I want to encourage is this idea of forgiving yourself. You have to be able to forgive yourself for everything that you've done wrong. You have to be able to forgive yourself for making mistakes. You have to forgive yourself for just not being perfect in life. And you have to let go of that perfectionism, that quest for the ideal, that quest for everything to be exactly the way you wish it was. And I think one of the things that feeds into that idea of what you perceive to be perfection in your life is, you look at other people and you're envious of them. You say, hey, look at that person over there. They're really attractive. They're really smart. They're really funny. They're all these things. And then you look at yourself and you think, man, I'm not like them. You look at yourself and you're like, why can't I be like that person is? And when you do that, you're creating an ideal. You're creating an idea of perfection by looking at someone else. And one of the things that you have to be able to do is to let go of that idea that you're imagining in your head of what you would be like if you were perfect. And you have to accept yourself for the way that you are. And you have to learn to love yourself the way you are. You have to learn to forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made. Because it's only when you do that that you can move forward. And I think that's one of the big things that I've had to deal with and I've had to learn. I mean, I've never been to that point where I've been actually thinking about ending my life. I don't really feel like I've been suicidal, because I've always been very eager to continue my life and live, because I always see the opportunity that I have to do more things in my life. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can be, I mean, especially if you're young like me. Like, I'm 23 years old. Like, I still recognize that people live, 70, 80. Some people live till they're 90, and it's like, I realize, like, I still have a lot of time ahead of me. And even if you're 50 right now, you've still got a lot of time left. Like, and that's the thing is, like, I think probably, I mean, it's so hard for me to express everything I want to say right now, but there's so much opportunity for the future that you have, for everybody. Everybody has the possibility to move forward and create something great of themselves, to be in a better place in your life. And the only way that you can get to that point is by accepting where you're at today and moving forward from wherever it is that you are. But you have to have the willingness to move forward. You have to have the willingness to, if you're severely depressed, if you're suicidal, you have to say, I want to help myself. And that's the first thing that you have to do, is you have to say, I want to get better. You have to say, I want to get help. You have to say, I want to figure out how to improve myself and be better. And I think that's the whole idea around not simply just dealing with depression, but just advancing or improving yourself in any single area of your life. So this kind of applies to personal development in general, is you have to say, man, I'm just not in a good place right now. Or, whether it's something that you want to get better at, whether it's your career, a skill, you can say, man, I might not be good at this skill right now, but I want to get better at it. And you have to acknowledge that you kind of aren't the best at something when you first start, because nobody is, right? And then you continue working forward to where you want to go to. But you can never, how do I say this? But I don't know. I jumped around there a lot because, I started trying to respond to somebody in the chat who said something about being suicidal, and then I kind of jumped around there. But yeah, self-forgiveness is something that I believe in doing a lot. I just think there needs to be a lot more forgiveness in the world than there is, and especially how you treat yourself and how you think of yourself. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get to all your guys' comments because I've been talking this whole time and you guys have been leaving so many comments in the chat. I don't think I'm going to be able to read them all. I'm just going to probably end the stream now because I'm like, that took a lot out of me just to say all that stuff. Yeah, and killing yourself is permanent. Like, when you make that choice, it's done. And that's, and you can always try every option that you can before you ever get to that point. Checking yourself into a hospital if you have to, trying to set up appointments with like a psychologist or something, going on medication, doing something, right? Yeah, and there's always people out there that are willing to help you. Talk to people about it for sure. Don't keep it inside. That's like what you don't want to do. Which is why I've been so open with how I feel on this channel, why I've made so many videos talking about just simple insecurities, feeling lonely, feeling depressed, having bad days. I've been open with sharing my position or how I've been feeling because I understand that I can't keep this inside. It's going to drive me crazy, and I have to talk about it. And because I've kind of isolated myself, like I have my girlfriend and I have parents and people that I can probably go to talk to about this stuff. I'm still not completely comfortable doing that, but I do go to them when I need to. And I've actually been thinking a lot, even though I'm pretty mentally in a solid place right now, like I'm doing much better. Like I wouldn't even go as far as saying that I'm depressed right now, which I don't know. I might technically still be depressed, but I certainly don't feel depressed because I feel good right now. And even though I'm feeling good, I still am thinking about maybe getting like some sort of professional help from a psychologist or something, just because I don't know why. Just if I can afford it, I don't know. I'm probably not though, just because I don't know. Where am I going with this? I don't know. Where am I at? All right, so I think I'm gonna actually end the stream here. Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, I started this stream not really knowing what I was gonna talk about, and I don't know. I feel like I'm fairly happy with how this went today. You guys were great. I can just say that all of you guys in the chat who were just like talking, just leaving comments. I really, really am happy that you guys were doing that. It makes me feel good to know that you guys are watching me. I'm hoping that I can put out more content on this channel. Trying to, upload some videos that hopefully come across as being somewhat insightful or give you something to think about. But we'll see. So thank you guys for joining today. I will end the stream now. So thank you guys all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and I hope you guys have a good week, and I will see you guys later. Take care, everyone.